Philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. No, I don't know, but what?
Philanthropy.
Not really.
I don't know what philanthropy means. I don't know.
No.
No.
I mean, the philanthropy comes from the two Greek words, philos, anthropy, love for humanity. Philanthropy as we know it today is possibly a phenomenon of the last half of the 20th century. However, charity, generosity, ways in which communities express care for those excluded are as old as the history of the human race.
In the world economy, in what gets popularized as philanthropy, it's the dollars, it's the cash, it's the money. And I think then that disappears a lot of the ways that Africans give. Not just disappears them, I think even renders them not as important.
There is an understanding that, generally speaking, the philanthropic peoples, generally speaking today, is thought to be the Western nations, or, in a different sense, those who have lots of money, who have lots of wealth.
I don't think you can divorce philanthropy from Africa. Maybe we had our own names, but we never even thought about it because it was second nature. We give. We are nurturers. We are people who believe in community.
The money does help to get things done, and we really, really need it. But a person to sacrifice their time and actually sit there and be part of that difference, really, there's no greater gift than that.
I don't think you can go to a home and the people don't welcome you. And when you're going to someone's home, you go with something. These are some of the things I've tried to teach the children.
One way that Africans, that we show that we care, is food. I think we never think about that as giving, right? My father is an Anglican priest, and our home was always open. The flasks of tea had to be full all the time because your home is open. Anybody can come in and eat.
People have been doing this for years and years. Yeah, you have your own children, but you're raising like 5 other people's children. And that's why I even think that it's much more special that people are able to still support 40/40 with all the responsibilities that they have, because I know them.
Giving is like a foundation, very foundational to who we are and what we do. And African giving is very present every day in our lives.
And so when you talk about African philanthropy, if you're trying to look at it in the sense of Western philanthropy, where it's often about the money, then you have to revisit, because we give a lot, be it for weddings, be it for funerals. We give of our time, we give of our ideas, we give of our thoughts and our physical presence.
If we are going to talk about Ugandan philanthropy, we're going to talk about African philanthropy, it's not just going to be about talking about our generosity. No, it's how you aggregate that. In other words, create infrastructure that makes it possible to aggregate African generosity to work that individual initiative.
We must see how we harness the power of the collective, because we are really a collective community, and platforms. What are the platforms right now for giving? Beyond the baby shower, beyond the wedding, beyond the funeral, what structures do we have to say, people, are we going to generously give for Mulago? Are we going to generously give? So there are some online platforms that have started, like the GoFundMe, but I think we have to come up with innovative ways in which we can have those bridal showers that actually give for a cause.
2, 3, 4 years ago, when friends of mine and I, we were 6 of us, climbed Rwenzori Mountain, we used the climb to raise money for children's homes that 40/40 was supporting. And what did we do? We literally just used Facebook to say, this is the cause, this is what we're doing, please give. And people, in fact, gave over and above what we had required.
Yeah, technology is a game changer. It has the opportunity for us to scale what we are doing. So how do we harness the good from the traditional to actually go with technology? Because we can't do without technology going forward. We must harness it as we build appropriate platforms for giving.
I think the internet is an addition. It doesn't replace necessarily. I think it's an addition to the ways people can, should, ought to be encouraged to give. And I think it stands alongside and supports the other ways that communities give to each other. I think what is the basis of either of those types of giving is trust. Can I trust you that you won't abuse my gift to you, that you will actually do what you said the money that you're collecting is going to do. So trust is foundational to any of those types of giving, whether online or offline.
So for me, it's to create this culture of giving. It's to create this culture of I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, no matter what. If social media is going to be the one educating our children, let's fill social media with these messages. If it's television and radio, let's ensure that these messages are there. If they're going to read books, let them see heroes who did things for their community, because really the onus is on us.
So I think we would need to understand it and say, how do we translate that into a broader scale? Other than this one of where you're saying, I've given 500 million, I've given this, but it's something that is part of us, that becomes part of the culture, but we also take into account the modern realities that we have. So I think I would want to understand better what it is about our African nature that we can amplify to meet the big needs that we are facing in our communities.
If private initiative is to transform the delivery of education, healthcare in ways in which it needs to be on the larger scale, we are going to have to think deeply about the architecture, the design, the infrastructure that is able to deliver that. Private initiative for the public good.
I think it needs to be named, right? To have it expressly stated in our balance sheet that there were sources of money from here, and they did this, and a critical source of money in our country in this space was philanthropy, giving by ordinary citizens.
So how do we contribute to ensure that we are looking at the holistic picture and that we are able to sustain our giving in a way that is recognizes the modern times?